introduce myself. Just beware, I have never public spoke before, so
You do fine.
yeah, we're going to gain some confidence out of this. So, a little bit about myself. So this was me. This was me. This is what I used to look like with my daughter, who is now Macy, who's now 11. So my journey started just after giving birth to her. I had severe postnatal depression. I didn't really know what to do with myself, really, to manage it. I decided that I went to the doctors and they said, you know, all the tips and tricks to helping it, as well as medication that I went on. One of those things was getting out and getting some fresh air and exercising. That ended up by being the way that I managed to manage my mental health and sort of like how I do now through exercise and healthy eating. So that's my journey started that long ago. I have since then completed, so I've lost 45 kilos, so that's how much I lost over about a 2-year period, just with little mindful things. And it's not all about that losing weight, but it's about thinking about how physical activity makes us feel, and the nutrition and the food that we put in our bodies. I didn't know that when that was before, how actually like down and how my energy levels were down until I started to make change. So you don't really know until you start on that process to know that, yeah, it makes you feel heaps better. So this is me running my second half marathon. It was actually the worst one I've ever done. I wouldn't recommend it. It was for a Woodbury School fundraiser, and it was around the Irari station, and it was 21 k's of pure grueling hard work. But this lady Anna squirted me with water. I actually knew her from Tenika, and that was about 3 k's from the finish line, so that little bit of water on that hot day was well worth it. I've also got a photo. I now compete in adventure racing, so these are my 2 lovely teammates. I had just competed in the Wanaka Spirited Woman, and we have finished second for the vets and 9th overall, so we had a good day out. But by the end I didn't really want to see my bike again because there was way too much biking. Because I'm a runner, the biking element was quite hard. And I've also been and done the charity bike ride. For any of you that think that sounds like hard work, it was the best fun ever. Like, group of, I think there was about 70. Has anyone heard of the charity bike ride? Yeah. So we all sort of know. 75 people, yeah, and in our different categories and abilities, and went and rode, I think it's 367 Ks. I'll actually just want to, my notes are on this one here, so I'm just going to flip over. So yeah, like I say, at the moment I've done 6 women's adventure race for Spring Challenge and Spirit of Woman. I've run 7 half marathons. I've climbed 12 mountains. Mountain climbing is awesome. Once you get your fitness levels up there, the views and things that you see. Once you sort of increase your fitness, you can go places that you would have never thought of going.
Are there groups that do that?
Pardon?
Are there groups that do that?
Oh, I run a few
Groups of
people.
women that do, it's like...
Yeah, so
So you have to crash out on myself.
there's yeah, that's right, because people don't really want to, like, even now I don't really hike on my own. I'll go up Little Mount Peel only because there's always someone on that track, but generally I wouldn't go out on my own. There is South Canterbury Women's Adventure page. There's lots of like organised hikes and stuff, and like if you've got kids, like going out and going hiking and overnight trips and that with your kids. Alice she works at the front runner, and she works down at the new eco centre down by the rubbish. She runs that page, and it's really, really good. It gives you lots of like people, like-minded people, you know, from beginners right to advanced, doing like different adventures. So generally sometimes too, I've got a wee gym in Tenika, so for me, like, I organise hikes. So we, like, 6 weeks ago we climbed Mount Barossa, we've been out Mount Summers, we've been out Mount Peel, so we kind of like just go with each other from there.
I've just got a really messy classroom, but I'll be right over.
Okay, awesome, sounds good. Yeah, good question, because people do ask that, but sometimes it is.
South Canterbury's Adventure Ladies?
Yes, yeah, there you go. And they do like biking down the scenic, mountain biking, because if you've never done it before, you don't know really where to go, and it's always, like, say, better doing it with friends than on your own. If we just look down at the tips and tricks to increase our physical fitness, like I always say to people, if exercise was a pill, it would be magic. One thing I refer to when probably about 4 years ago, when I'd lost majority of my weight, my dad works for a big company, and he rang me one day and he's like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, looking around, I'm like, yeah, everything's okay, kids are okay, and I'm okay, like, why? And he's like, "Oh, someone just told me at work that you've got cancer."
I just assumed
that I was sick. Or people assume that because if people haven't seen you for a while, it's quite a shock, like 45 kilos is quite a lot to see someone. Otherwise, people would come up to me and they're like, they wanted that magic pill. They wanted me to say, well, I did keto, or I took away carbs, or I went to the doctor and they suppressed my appetite. I had weight loss surgery. I did none of those. Yes, I did some of those in the way I did reduce my carb intake, but now that I exercise daily and I lift weights, I need to eat carbs. So we need to eat carbs to keep ourselves functioning, but we want to stick to the better carbs, and we'll get a little bit to that. I won't go into too in depth with the food because it's quite a big thing to get your head around, but if you ever want more support, I'm here to sort of think about what's in your food and what we should be eating. But that's it. People want a quick fix, and for me it wasn't a quick fix. It was 2 years. It was 2 years from going out, starting to walk to the corner, to then going to the next corner, and then, you know, jogging 1 power pole and 2 power poles. I never went to the gym or did any sort of class until I felt like I had some confidence. Like, walking to a gym for me would have just been the worst. So now I've got the confidence. Obviously I got a personal trainer and I started to go to the gym, but I did do the first year of my journey pretty much on my own until I felt confident to go into that daunting place. But just remember, if you ever do go to a gym or something like that, no one's looking at us. They're really not. They really are not. We think that, and they've got all these big mirrors, but no one's generally looking at what we're doing. So we all know what how important it is to move our body. And it's not always about losing weight, it's just about being fitter. And also, I'm just an advocate for the fact that it helps better boost mental health, dealing with anxiety. Like, if I feel anxious, my husband will go to me, "You need to go out for a run." Like, if I'm getting overwhelmed with stuff, that's what I use, and then I just come back and I feel a better space. Like for you with the kids, you know, you've got one kid that's like jumping through the roof. They're better to go outside and burn some of that energy, because it's better for their mental health to then come back in and reset. And just ways to do this. Everyone says, "I don't have time to exercise." You really do. We do. If it's a priority, we're going to do it. So we just need to make it a priority. One way you can do that is picking the best time of the day where you have more energy, just setting that alarm half an hour earlier. One way that we can get that exercise in during the day is footwear. We want to wear the appropriate footwear to do laps around the school, or, you know, like being out there kicking the ball with the kids, because you guys are here majority of the time. You want to try and get those steps in and that exercise in while you're here. So that's definitely one thing I first changed, is I just You don't see me in heels. If you see me out of active wear, obviously you guys are going to wear a suit, and I don't know if there's any protocol around what you have to wear. But
Active, casual.
yeah,
Play
yeah.
with the kids.
And yeah, that's it. It makes you able to play with the kids. People will see me out of active wear and they're like, wow, because they never see me out of it because it's where I'm most comfortable and can move the most. And just start slowly. Okay, we're not out there to. You never got to sit here and be like, oh, she's influenced me to run a full or half marathon. That's not what I'm here for. It's just to change that mindset about putting some physical activity in our day. So we can do that around increasing the duration, frequency, the intensity of that exercise. Someone else. Oh, and we want to find an activity that we like. We don't want physical activity to be punishment, okay? So we want to make sure that we find something that's enjoyable. Can everyone name something in the room what they like to do physically that they enjoy?
Netball.
Netball, awesome. Walking.
Gardening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
gardening.
Best part about exercise is when we're actually getting something achieved at the same time, like gardening, mowing the lawns, doing things like that. So that's awesome. I love who's someone that said netball. I love my netball as well. Also, it's fun to do with someone else. So we can use our work colleagues to be like, hey, after work, should we go for a walk? How long has it been since you've been on your bike over the Easter weekend? We could go for a little bike ride. Family members and friends, our kids love when they see us active as well, and family members, so that's good as well. And then just set realistic goals. So if you're sitting here thinking, I want to do some of these things, I want to get a little bit fitter and a little bit healthier so I live longer. Remember, our vital organs are all in here. They're the things that we want to keep the most healthy. Now, movement that increases your heart rate, so that's what we want to be doing a little bit of. So we want to be purposely picking some exercise that brings our heart rate up, so we can put our hand on our chest and we feel it pumping along, or if you've got a smartwatch you can see that your heart rate's over your normal resting heart rate. Everyone's is slightly different, but you can just Google what yours should be. I'd love you to rate your physical level of fitness on your little bit of paper. And I've got a pen. Where you are at now. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm not really going to ask you what you've put down. Everyone got a pen. Oh, yes. Oh, over here.
I was all good at my second.
I got it.
Ebbs
and
flows.
I have to relay for life practice.
Yeah. No, we did have Motor Harbour and then Relay for Life.
That's got all right.
We'll have to
Hard work. I've done that a few times. There were quite a few schools that got involved this year though. I didn't actually go down. We had something else on, but I noticed, I think I looked at a few things on social media, a few videos. Oh, Hugh was down there, that's right, so I was watching his videos. And it looked like there was quite a few schools.
Yeah, we did it as a school.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, my feet are still punishing me. I have dead skin blisters with it. Yeah, terrible.
Terrible. I normally lose toenails after a long run.
Yeah,
After I've done any.
black toenail after the headlight harbour.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
Just not enough movement in the toe box and sort of jamming down, especially if you're going downhill and stuff as well.
Yeah, that's
I've got a bit of a black one from Saturday. I did Spirit of Woman and Wanaka, so I've got a bit of a black toey. Not too bad, it's because there was too much biking. So we all scaled ourselves on that fitness level.
I've gone downhill since becoming a teacher.
Yeah.
That's why I've just said my best healthiest mate was a year ago. That's when I got back to school.
Yeah, it
because
is.
you had more time for yourself.
I I wasn't stressing all the time. Like, just
And when you're stressed, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we need to use our that stress
but I wasn't even
levels
stressed.
and try and
just
put
been
it
busy.
yeah, and put it into that
It's not always
physical
stressed, it's just, life.
It's just that
Just life in general.
one thing to
5
the
million tones on.
one thing to the next. Definitely your job helps, like if it's a more physical job, it's easier
I've put on
to
30 kilos since I became a teacher.
just
And because I don't eat now during the day, where before when I was on the farm I'd stop and have something to eat, and now as a teacher I don't eat all day.
And then when you get home,
And then I get home I go, God, I'm hungry.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we start eating from like 5 to
Yeah.
whatever time we get into bed. One thing I always did when I was like trying to lose weight and be a bit more mindful was like I wouldn't eat after 6:30, and I started
lunch at 6.
and I started eating breakfast. Breakfast is key. As soon as a client comes to me and says I don't eat breakfast, that's our first week. The goal for that first week is to put breakfast in, and it does make them feel sick, and it's hard, like for people that aren't used to it. But after we get through that first 4 weeks, they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad you make me eat breakfast now. And they're looking to have it because your body needs that. Your body does really, and then it stops us getting to that night time and wanting to go and eat everything in sight, because we put some good foods in our body right from when we wake up. Because if you don't eat in the morning, you haven't started your metabolism. And we need to start our metabolism to start using energy, to start burning calories. So the cycle sort of goes on. So if that's something you do take away, we're going to start eating some breakfast. List 3 things you could do to increase your fitness levels.
Eat breakfast.
Yeah, I'm from that too.
Yeah, well, 'cause that means you're going to get energy to. We're going to come to the food
If you
part,
want to
but
come around at 5:30 when I have my breakfast, I'll make you
I see
one.
it
That's
go
what I make you
for
for
you.
8
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah, 5:30, so go for a walk.
I'm actually kicking Jace out of bed because of his alarm's gone like 12
Yeah, I make breakfast.
I
I love breakfast.
Come up at 6 shower, then breakfast.
I don't eat until our first break, and then I have an
I
apple.
can't eat myself.
God, I'll die.
Yeah,
And use the bar.
like Tasha's
yeah,
just-
But
definitely
then I am
needs.
hungry. I'm not hungry. I don't feel hungry in the
Yeah,
morning.
you don't because you're so used to it, but when you actually do start making yourself eat, after about 4 weeks, you'll be looking for breakfast. It just takes any habit. It just takes a wee bit to break and get into a different routine.
If I haven't had breakfast,
But eggs, omelets for breakfast
It's
is
been called
great.
like a smoothie.
Yep.
I had a smoothie
Yeah, oh,
now.
definitely.
Like
Yeah.
I have collagen with my almond milk.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like my breakfast.
Well, at least you've kept that metabolism. But add something to that. Add half a banana, some spinach, some chia seeds, some nuts. Like, give that food some substance so you're getting the nutrients that your body needs as well. So it's protein powder and your collagen. It's great. Just add something to give you some. We'll get to around the calories and like eating the right sort of foods for the right calories that we need. But you can all go back to that. Just think tonight. Doesn't have to be on the spot. Just a little, a couple of things, because goal setting. We do it with the kids. Goal setting is really important to get from here to there. We can't just say we're going to do this and not have any way to get there. Okay, so we need to think about how we're going to go from there to here.
I'm so amazed with Danielle that you get up at 5:30.
hang on.
That doesn't
Yeah,
surprise
what time, Kate?
Kate, what time do you get up?
Why?
Because I go
When
for a
you
run.
go to
Yeah.
bed.
I don't do it
But no, yes, okay.
I want the
just
dollars.
listen to me.
Yeah.
I have my reasons, alright? If I don't get up early, I I'm rushed. Like if I get up too late, I'm really rushed, and then I get really grumpy, and then I come to school and I'm really grumpy, and then I get home and then I'm really grumpy, and then I'm like, oh, I won't go for my run because I'm grumpy and I had a bad day. Whereas if I get up and I do it in the morning,
It's done.
it's done.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel really like, because it helps with my anxiety to like go for a run. So.
Yeah.
So
I have my
I
reasons.
do the other way. I go to the
But I
gym
go to bed
straight after
Go to
school.
bed at 9:30, so.
Yeah, I go to the gym straight after school because I take the frustrations and
But I think I'm
annoyances
on
from the
board
day
with
out
this.
on my body at the gym.
Yeah. And it is just the way your body clock is sort of set, but everybody has more energy in the morning, so you're going to give more to what you're doing in the morning, but there's no right or wrong, whatever you're doing, as long as you're moving.
Do you do that in the weekend as well, Kate? And in the holidays?
Yeah.
Oh my god, my favourite thing about the holidays is sleeping in.
But I'm a
45.
morning person though, so I like going to bed. Like I like
Yeah.
waking up early. Yeah.
I'm definitely the same. Like I'm in bed, I'm a routine sleep. I'm in bed by 9
Oh, I
o'clock.
don't plan to be a mummy.
See, my best time is 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's when I do Wordle because I'm awake.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
Hayley, sending
I did all
You've
my
already-
inquiry planning at 2 o'clock yesterday morning.
Yeah.
So, Kate, do you still get up at that time on the holidays?
I don't like what change.
No, no, no.
That's not right, that's it. You've got to keep doing.
It's your
Yeah,
routine.
if I just wake up anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's culture.
And one other thing about doing it in the morning too is, so if you go out for a half an hour, 45-minute walk or run, or you've gone to the gym, you're not going to go in morning tea time and be like, I'm going to have a donut. Because you're going to be, what's the point of just being for a run and a walk an hour or two earlier?
Oh no.
So you do
it.
Slowly your mindset does shift, like it's that shift where you're like, well, I won't have that because what was the point of doing this? I do know some people that do that. But that's the calories in, calories out. She can do that, and the fact that if her goal isn't weight loss, she can do that because she's burning the calories so she can have the things that she likes. And that's sort of what I look at in life. Like if my family, I don't really eat it that much anymore because it doesn't make me feel great. But if they said, like I went to a birthday thing, they said we're having fish and chips, I would eat it. Doesn't make me feel that good now because I know what it makes, but I can and I will eat it and I will have a few glasses of wine. I don't deprive myself of anything, and I never have. I just made little changes. I've never went and said I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to eat that, or I've just done little things along the way. If I'm going to have something, it's just less of it and less often. We're going to do a little bit of a challenge. So mainly I just want you to do it. You don't even have to look at anyone else in the room while you're doing it. But it's just so you can do it. You know the exercise, and then in 4 weeks' time, I want you to challenge yourself. You're all going to get back together.
This is
and
what
we're going to.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, I'm not going to be running around. We're not doing boot camp or anything.
Let's see if anybody can beat you this time in 3 minutes. And by 8 seconds.
Who does one for 3 minutes?
One of my students.
Oh,
We do it
yeah.
every week.
So good. Planking is the best exercise.
I thought he was going to pass
So great for our core. Our core is everything, okay? It's going to keep us upright for a long time. So we're going to do a wee challenge. I'm going to show you the correct way to do a plank, but we're not having any injuries, okay? And I don't want anyone stressing too much. So if you need to, you can do it from your knees, okay? As long as weight is over shoulders. So we're here, so your shoulder is under elbow. And you're like that, so bum's down. Otherwise, knees are down and you're just leaning forward. Okay. I've got the timer. At least give it a go on your knees. Honestly, you'll thank yourself that you've given it a go. I've got the timer. As you drop, just call out and I'll give you the time. We might be here for 5 minutes. No, I'll have, if any of my clients go over like 3 minutes now, I'll find a 10-minute plate to put on their bum. Alright, are we ready? I might come and critique your positioning if I need to. Ready? And go.
I've got sandals. Can we
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We've got no mountains, which is great. No mountains. Oh, you slip sandals. You've got 10 seconds off your time.
Oh, no, that's really big.
Right. Oh, everyone's holding strong. 15 seconds. We've actually got no mountains, which I'm great about. There's no really pikey bums. Right, we are 30 seconds in. Oh, this, I'm impressed. Don't laugh, you call. Oh, the dog's giving you online workouts and all. My dog, I had to lock him away, or else he'd just come and lick my face and he wanted to be in the video. 48 seconds. 52.
I'm stopping at the minute.
55. 1 minute.
I'm out.
Keep going if you can. 105.
Not bad for an old girl.
Yeah, that was very well done.
I'm gonna take
Nice
one.
and strong. 150.
What am I taking off mine? 10. Was it 10 I was taking off mine?
Yes, 10 seconds. 120.
What about girls?
You dropped. That was your time. 125.
Even if they're on job. Oh, I'm actually, it was like
Nice
right in
and
my
flat.
face.
130.
Well done, Paula. It's not touched, going still.
Strong arms.
You kicked and cut.
140.
My legs are, my feet are like
Scott, I'm moving away from you.
Because I could have done it.
145.
my leg, my shoes not holding out.
Oh, we've got lots of concentration. 150. Got lots of concentration in the front here. You're the last one standing. 155. See, she's nice and low. There's no real. If you want to.
Don't look at
205. YouTube the lady doing the longest plank.
How long did you?
Oh, it was it 7 hours?
Are you serious?
And she was really, really skinny, and her shoulder blades by the end were like protruding up. I couldn't even watch it. I was like, oh. 125. 225. 230.
Good touch.
Doing very
Send
well.
it to the dog.
235. Send to the dog.
No.
240. Well done. Look, see? Do you know you feel great when you revisit that in 4 weeks and see? Yes, I love that idea. I do.
Yeah, they've given us more
Kids
space.
may not
As
be
long as
window.
Bailey's not there. No,
Okay. The next exercise we're going to do is we're going to do a squat. Does everyone know how to do a squat?
Yeah.
All that is ideally, and not all of us will be able to do it, but we want to be at a 90-degree angle. So when we squat down, our feet are just wider than hip. We want to come down so our knee is in line with our hip, okay? All we're doing is 1 minute, and you're just going to count how many you can do. So you're just going to pump them out. Yes, you've got to count while I
My
time.
feet could be pushed like this.
So it's not
Because it was armed at the gym, they're going to know.
Alright, are we ready? I want us to aim for that nice low squat though, okay? Nice and low. Ready? And go. Make sure we're counting. Go push the weight into our heels. Nice. Yes, good job. We might have a few complaints in the staff room tomorrow. I'm like, oh, we're going to kill that lady. That's yeah, any injuries, just take it easy. 25 seconds in. Are we doing 1 every second? Close to 1 every 2 seconds. 30 seconds to go. Can anyone feel their heart rate coming up now? Yep, great. This is the sort of things we want to be doing to increase that heart rate.
I can't get
You've
it.
got James up anyway.
Yeah.
I just think my feet always go like this because I did ballet for like 20 years.
Oh,
So my feet
oh my
can't-
daughter, my daughter can do ballet and she can still do that. 10
I
seconds.
can't do it. I don't know why.
5 seconds. 2 and 1. How many? Before we sit down, we're going to do our last one. You need to find some space on a wall. Just remember that number that you did. So we want to be in a wall sit, but you need to be nice and low. So our hip needs to be in line with our knee, okay? And I will pick us up on this one just because we don't want to be here for 10 hours.
I'm not doing it in front of
Right, ready?
No, there's no space.
And go. Oh, your shoes again. Oh, I like it. I do an over 60s class and I run it at 9:30 this morning. And I just made them do a wall sit, like not very low, but today, and they were like, ooh.
My shoes are
Yes. Yeah, lean back, 20 seconds.
Hey, Billy. Hi.
30 seconds.
You're not going to let my face cake. Okay.
35.
Here's your water, Bob.
40. Whose legs are burning? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. 50. Oh! Good job. 1 minute. Oh, we're out on that. A few out on 1 minute. We've still got one over there. 105.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you.
105.
Oh, you were sitting on a seat over there, weren't you?
What did we find the hardest?
Wall sit.
The wall sits a burner.
Especially after doing squats. That's me.
I'm glad we all elevated our heart rate today. We can all say that. Now we're thinking about our heart rate. Can we just flick onto the... Oh, yep, you're all good. There we go. Thinking about our heart rate. Teachers. Do we know what's considered our ideal heart rate? Circle it and then we'll have a quick chat about it.
Question. I've got low blood pressure.
Ooh.
So what, like?
So if you... So you're wondering what your ideal heart rate is. So I have low blood pressure as well. My resting heart rate's 45. But I'm very physically active. So don't you know what your resting heart rate 50?
Mine's
No, mine's about 39, 40.
Real low.
So I carry something.
To bring, Does anyone know what their resting heart rate is? Could you guys?
Today we're 58.
Cool.
Mine's
Cool.
69. Currently at 100.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smartwatch is fantastic to help yourself get motivated. Because you can
Mine's
count your
55.
steps, you can see what your heart rate's doing, you can see how much sleep we're getting, because sleep's really important. Who's got the right answer? Who thinks that they know the answer there?
I put 50 to 70.
Yeah. 50 to 70. So, like I said, athletes do sit at about 40 to 45, so you will consider them a little bit lower. You don't need to worry too much until you go over 100. Well, you do actually. I would start worrying if your resting heart rate's about 80, because 100 we would be visiting the doctor and looking at medications and things like that. If we're sitting around that 80 to 90, there's lots of great lifestyle changes that you can make to bring that down. But ideally, 50 to 70 is where your resting heart rate. Everyone is different, so if I go out for a run, if I'm just going for a slow jog, I could get mine up to about 145. If I'm sprinting, I can push it to 175. So it's great that you can get your heart rate really elevated, but the key thing is how quickly it comes back down. So you want to be able to, your heart to